Hey, welcome back to the co-sponsor podcast. Today, I'm super excited. I have Ray Fernandez. He's out of Palm Beach, Florida. And actually, before real estate, Ray was an actual former Wall Street trader, which we'll get into. He's also getting ready to launch his own YouTube channel for agent attraction. So we'll put his YouTube channel's show link in the description down below once that's out. But the thing that I find very impressive with Ray is that he actually is a top 100 solo agent in the entire United States here at eXp, the number one agent in Florida. And he's done that 3 consecutive years in a row where he's hit those top 100s, or maybe even more years than that, that I just looked at the last three. But on top of that, he's been able to take his price point from 750 to 800 to 1,050,000, all by using leverage. So if you're an agent that's watching this, that's a solo agent that wants to know how to grow and scale, Ray's going to show us how to do that here today through our conversation. So Ray, welcome to the show. And why don't you just, before you came to eXp, why don't you tell us where you were at and we can take it from there.
That's great. Jesse, thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. Appreciate the opportunity to tell our story, my story, our story. Our group is great here at eXp. Joining eXp, going on, it's about 4 years ago now, was an eye opener, and it's been a game changer to my business. Prior to eXp, I was with a company called ERA. It's a franchise. It's one of the Realogy companies like Claudwell Banker and Better Homes and Gardens. It's in that family of homes, but they're all the same, truth is. And I was with them probably about 3 years, going about 3 years then. And I really hit my limit with them. I can only go so far with them, and there just was not enough room to do what I do today. There was not a chance in the world I would have the opportunity to do it there. But backtracking even before that, Jesse, I'm a finance guy. I'm a finance major, originally from New York. I'm here in Florida now 19 years. I ran one of the biggest bank in the world, BNP Paribas, their equity trading desk on Wall Street in New York. And I ran actually all their Americas, from New York all the way down to Brazil. So, that market is very dynamic. It changed, and I went into real estate in recent years, now the last 7. And as I was starting to say, eXp is such a great platform from an entrepreneurial standpoint that it made my production go from the 8 to 18 to now, as you mentioned, I'm at the top. I'm vivying for the number one spot in Florida within our company.
I love it. So what do you think was that pivotal moment that, like, because I'm always interested, like 8 million to 36 million is a 4.5x growth. And you're like, I was at my ceiling. So like, what was it that allowed you to hit this runway to like scale up? Because when you think of that, you're like 4 times the amount of sales, 4 times the amount of effort, 4 times the amount of workload, 4 times the amount of overhead.
Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I've super tuned it in this last year, especially leverage. Leverage is like a good Wall Street trader, a good real estate agent's best friend. I started when I was at ERA, it was just me running solo, right, doing my paperwork and all this. Didn't know what a transaction coordinator was, or I knew what they were, but I just wasn't utilizing it. There wasn't the platform for it. But I've had a transaction coordinator. I have full-time video editor. I've got 4 full-time virtual assistants that they do everything for me. So I figured out ways where all these little things that I should not have been doing, like productivity items, I've outsourced that to other people, and all I'm doing now is speaking to high level people. You mentioned my price point has gone up, and it has because I focus not on selling more houses, but I also focus on getting my price point higher, speaking to the luxury end here in Palm Beach and South Florida. And I have all these assistants helping me, and I'm a solo agent, but I do have a structured, a self-organized team of people here. But for the most part, I run as an individual agent, and leverage is the number one way I've been able to take the business to literally, I'll be at 40 million by the end of the year.
Yep. Oh, that's fantastic. And just for the viewers that are listening, Ray doesn't, because we said solo agent and you just said self-organized team. So a self-organized team at eXp is where you can get multiple solo agents and they essentially can all collaborate together. And if they want to refer deals back and forth, they can, but it's not a traditional team. So they're not like putting all the production under one agent's name. That's Ray's true production is as, nearly 40 million. But I'm curious to know, what was it at ERA when you said you hit your capacity? What was
Yeah.
that like? And what made you think to like look outside of that and like it's time for something new? Like there had to have been something that like flipped the switch where that made that happen. I want to know what it was.
Well, really, when I had to sit down and do the paperwork myself was I was sitting here in the office and I was writing a listing agreement or I was writing up an offer and I'm like, why am I doing this? They had the way they were structured is they had a transaction fee. It was 250, but the fee really was the broker at the office was really he was going to her so that she can make sure her as a broker was compliant with rules and regulations. It
Mm,
did zippity doodah for me. It did
gotcha.
nothing. And so once I figured that out, I hate paperwork. And although we need to know what to do, we didn't know what we're doing. But once I started, utilizing my time more effectively and more efficiently, that was that was a game changer. And we're speaking, Jesse, we have about 85,000 agents at eXp,
Hmm.
and a lot of them are very successful. We have some of the most brilliant minds at eXp when it comes to real estate. I was in like a little pond here in a small part of Palm Beach, Florida, dealing in an office of like, maybe 35 agents. And you can only go so far in picking the brains of 35 agents, which some of which most of which aren't that productive at all.
Yep.
I promise you, as you know, Jesse, you can mention the numbers. I know you know these numbers. We have some of the most productive agents in the industry at eXp.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, we are one of the most productive real estate brokerage on the planet and the biggest. And due to the economies of scale, you're a finance guy, you know that those numbers shouldn't go hand in hand. So you're at this moment at ERA and you're like, I need something different. Like, what was it like, and what were you looking for and how was that process like finding a new brokerage, and how did you land on EXP?
That is a phenomenal question. Jesse, I always liked the story to EXP, cloud brokerage. I love the entrepreneurial spirit. I knew that was there. I knew it was the right company, the right brokerage. But I also came to learn and realize that it's really important to know and pick your sponsor.
Hmm.
Um, if I've heard this, I've heard stories of people joining eXp, although it's a great brokerage, if you don't pick the right sponsor, it can be a sad story. I literally interviewed lots of people, and I was approached by a lot of people,
Hmm.
looking to bring me over. But I knew that my strength was like our team, Jesse. I do YouTube like you do, like the several channels you have. I have living in Palm Beach, Florida. I was already doing that. I was the only one at my company back then doing it, and I was starting to follow people like yourself and Jackson through the Channel Junkies channel, and I was perfecting my YouTube game. But it still wasn't to where it is today. And once I came into our group here at eXp, that's when it really took off. But I know that, between you and Jackson, you guys know the YouTube story real well. And the collaboration that we have as our group has been off the charts amazing. And so that was the reason why I chose, literally, you are my sponsor. And that is why our group, between all the living in channels, we are one of the strongest forces, not just in EXP, but in the world when it comes to real estate.
Hmm. Yes, and I agree 100% with that. Obviously, that's what we do. So when you make this move into EXP and you see like this explosive growth, like what was your expectation when you came in? And then like what was reality?
Yeah. I didn't know what to expect except to expect it to be a lot better, right? And I knew it couldn't be any worse, right? But I really took off when I went. I immediately hired my own transaction coordinator. That was a game changer. Immediately hired a video editor. That was a game changer. Game changer. Then I hired a one full-time virtual assistant, 40 hours a week, where he was doing like my charting and doing a lot of like analytical work for me. This past year and a half, I hired three more assistants like that full time. And that once I did that, Jesse, my business practically doubled. And that was, I'm very big on, as I know you are, database management.
Okay.
And it's important. Your database is like a gold mine in real estate. And I have two of my virtual assistants going through my database and engaging my database and setting appointments for me and just saying, hey Ray, we saw that you were in Florida last August. What are you guys thinking? Is anything changed? I mean, next thing you know, I have an appointment next Friday, and we're talking about bringing him to one of the communities here in Palm Beach Gardens, as an example. And then I just write the offer. I mean, I do a lot of new construction. I do a lot of relocation because of the fact that we have a YouTube channel, and that really is. So having that, though, hiring those three people made a world of difference. So in the other third one, the two are going through my database. The other person is my executive assistant. I don't have to do my emails. She does my emails, and we have AI answering a lot of them too now. Now that's my new venture, is utilizing AI this past year and making it work for me in ways that other agents, it's not even on the charts, not even on the mind of other agents. And that's my focus of this year, 2025, and moving forward to 2026.
Gotcha. So you've got a lot of resources and help, and you said virtual assistants, so they're probably not as expensive. But what was it that like what made you think of this, and like what made you, because I'm sure you're just like in your own mind you're like, should I do this? Should I not do this? This is a cost. It's like, am I going to make more money from doing this? So like what was it that gave you that bump to like make it happen, and like what was your guidance from?
I see, we have a lot of great agents at eXp. We have eXp Con, and we have events like we went to the top 250. We met it not too long back, and we're constantly running into. I'm always looking to put myself around very successful people,
Hmm.
and I know you do that as well, Jesse. I see you at these conferences all the time.
Yep.
You want to do that. Now, I see the most successful people utilizing, they're not working on their own and writing and doing their own paperwork and doing their own social media. No, they have people doing all these things for them. If they're doing it and they're at the top of their game, I mean, shouldn't I do that as well? So,
Exactly.
and once one works and then two works, why not four?
Yep.
And it just keep going from there.
Yep, exactly. And that's the thing is, people try to complicate it. And that's the thing I love, like so far, what you've told me. You're like, I do database management. So like everyone knows me as the YouTube guy, but my number one core pillar is database management. Like you better have your database locked down. And then a
Yeah.
secondary system to that is great. So what do you think is a strategy that made the biggest difference in your business? Like if you could think of all of them, what would it be? Would it be your database, YouTube, or something else?
I think it's really everything combined, but
Okay.
YouTube is like it was the start for me. It was definitely the start. It got me out there. I walk down the street and people recognize me. I'll be at Chipotle and someone will go to me, I watch your videos. And and you do become locally famous, and it helps. I mean, it's nice. I mean, I'd rather have them called me and close the home with me, but the truth is, it's such a great way to have a warm introduction to people. So that really was number one. Getting the database up and running and managed in coordination with YouTube, putting it all together collectively, or it's like a 1-2 punch that it complements each other beyond belief, and it's why I've seen such explosive growth in the last 2 years, especially.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I love seeing the growth, and not only the growth, but like the fact that you're able to leverage it and probably get more of your time back as well. Because usually people go the other way, they work more and then they make more, but then there's no ending to that. And now we're seeing this economy of optimization of time because
Yeah,
that's the most important thing, you know. And we all are only here for a limited amount of time. But what do you think is
true.
something that agents think matter but actually doesn't when it comes to their real estate business?
Well, I'll tell you what matters more than people, most agents realize is building your brand,
Hmm.
right? You want to, you know, you want to be out there on the digital platforms because today, especially, people are looking for agents by Googling them or going into ChatGPT. And you need to, and having your brand locked down is one of the most important things to do. There are some agents, if you go to these old time ERA, Caldwell Banker, I hate to, I don't want to put down too many brokerages, but that formula of sending postcards out and farming an area, I never really did it. I know it works,
Hmm.
but I think the industry has evolved way beyond that. Jesse, I got a call from someone with a $3 million home a couple of weeks ago, who I'm working on that listing. She's got $3 million condo, and she says, Ray, I went into ChatGPT and I asked ChatGPT who was the number one relocation agent in South Florida, and Ray, your name came up first, so I'm calling you.
There you go.
So the fact that I feed Chat GPT, and guys, if you want to join our team and learn some of these strategies, I mean, the AI is going to be a game changer next year and beyond. And that's what people are going to use to search you. Postcards, I get 10 of them in the mail practically every day. It's so old school. I mean, the environment is evolving, and we as agents need to keep up with the evolution of what real estate's becoming and will be in 2026 and beyond.
Yep, I agree. And we'll get into the value add here in a second. But when you say brand, are you talking about like when like you see a lot of these brokerages and they're like, oh, like you can use my brand, so it's Jesse Dow at whatever brokerage, and that's all I'm building up. And so a lot of agents get like tied down to that brand. So like let's just say it's Remax or Keller Williams. Are you talking
Right.
about your brand with the brokerage or Ray Fernandez, the brand of Ray, and you could take that anywhere you want?
Right. Ray living in Palm Beach, Florida. I'm living in Palm Beach, Florida, powered by eXp luxury homes.
Okay.
That's how I brand it. I mean, and I also part of the eXp luxury division, which has been a great success. I think Jesse, that a lot of my business is new construction. And because I've branded myself as well as I have, the most prominent builders here in South Florida now come to me to
Hmm.
list their quick delivery homes on MLS
Yep.
because our marketing is really strong. The brand of eXp Luxury is another way to brand living in Palm Beach, and when they see the amount of exposure we get from like the Wall Street Journal and Barron's and all these other high level no high dollar publications, it helps brand us. And I know EXP it's nice, but it's really us, like it's me, Ray Fernandez, living in Palm Beach, and our team. That is the brand, and relocation is my niche. And you don't too many agents, especially starting out, want to be everything to everybody. And one of the first things I learned in real estate, going way back when, Jesse, was you need to niche down, and if you don't, you're going to be lost in this business forever.
Exactly. And piggybacking onto that, because you did mention ChatGPT, and I do think, and we can talk about this offline, a benefit of working with us directly. We can't give all the secrets away.
No.
Tapping into those listings from YouTube. But like, what do you think like is a strategy working right now that most agents are not using?
You gotta, so well, we've talked about a couple already with the CRM and YouTube, but you also want a robust website, right? It's a great,
Okay.
it's a great platform to put your brand out there, right? And so you want things on your website that are attention getters.
Yep.
Blogs with videos especially are really powerful. The pros and cons of living in Palm Beach Gardens. You want that to come up in a search, and there, boom, there's Ray's blog on the pros and cons. Now, The other thing, and we're only going to we'll tease it a little bit, but how do you get your website to be favorable with the AI bots? That's the thing today that you want that no one knows about yet. But that's really where you want to see your business going. That's what I'm working on, and there's ways you can make your website very friendly to the AI bots.
Okay. That's interesting. I'd like to hear more about that. We'll
Yeah,
talk about that here in a second. But
yeah, sure.
what what is something you wish you would have somebody would have told you 5 years ago to like get you to where you wanted to go quicker?
Yeah. I mean, definitely number one is leverage, Jesse. I mean, that's certainly no, number one. Um, you know, you want to have your name out in all the digital platforms like LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, but also you don't want to spread yourself too thin.
Yep.
I think that a lot of people try to do too much. They don't do any of them well. So they might try. I like using Facebook, but it'll never replace YouTube. I like using Instagram. It'll never replace YouTube. And YouTube is different from them because YouTube is a search engine, where the others are more like social media platforms. I know you know this. And so sometimes I think people, and in myself included in the early years, were doing too many different things. And I think when you focus in on fewer higher productive things. That to me is just a. I wish I got that story sooner. The other thing I do a lot of that I've kicked it into high gear is I read a lot of books.
Oh, okay.
And I've read 45 books last year, and I'm going to beat that this year. And I, just reading from these people, these successful people, and just learning their stories and taking little bits and pieces about what they do to become successful and incorporate that in our practice. To me, is a game changer. It's aces.
Well, I want to actually ask you something on that topic is I heard Alex Ramosi say he's like, yeah, I read 14 books and then like nothing happened. And he's like, and then I realized that I actually had to implement the thing I was learning. So he said, every book moving forward, he goes, I'm actually going to take book 15 and implement the things that it talks about. So are you
Yeah,
taking pieces from each book and implementing it
yeah.
into your business?
Yeah, I am actually. When we were at the top 250 at the end, that last one was in what do
Scottsdale.
you Scottsdale, and I ran into our CEO Leo, and I said Leo, you mentioned the book Get Things Done, and just so you know, I'm gonna read that. And he says, do me a favor when you're done, send me what you think on Slack. And so I reached out to him after I was finished, and so I took that's a good example of what we're discussing here. I took the top things from that book. There, make creating lists were one of them,
Yep.
and writing down projects and being very definitive about it and being more disciplined about it is one of the takeaways I had. Those are the two biggest takeaways from that book. And of course, I slacked Leo and I said, yeah, these are my two biggest takeaways. And I ran into him as at eXp Con, as we just had this a couple of months ago. And so I try to take away at least a couple points from each books. Alex Hermosi, you know him well, you know him better than I do, and he's some of his books are phenomenal. And these are people that are just killing it. And just take a little bit from these people. I mean, these guys are no, are doing something right. And if I can take just a little bit from each one of them and put it in a way that fits my personality, I'm going to be better off.
Yep, exactly. And actually like the listing, I every night I make a list at the end of the night and it's always around like 11 or 12 o'clock and then I email it to myself. And the first thing I have to do in the morning is do that list before I do anything else. I check my emails first, but like a little bit of you just want to do a little bit each day, right? To get you to the next goal or whatever
Yeah,
you're trying to get accomplished.
yeah,
And I love what Hermosi said. He said it doesn't matter what you did last, it matters what you do next. And so if
yeah,
you can just chip away a little bit at a time, I think that's really a really important lesson. Um,
yeah.
Shifting gears a little bit, like what type of agents thrive in your world?
So I think entrepreneurial, really. Um, thinking outside the box. There's a girl that, and I know you know her, Melissa, who joined my team. She was, I'm a certified mentor
Okay.
at EXP, and she was one of my original mentees from when I first started in the program. And you know the way EXP works, and she was with EXP, so she wasn't under me. So she said, "Listen, Ray, I want to be on your team. I want to be in in your structure. What do I need to do?" She actually left the company for 6 months and came back to EXP so she can be under me. The girl is freaking killing it. She runs Airbnbs. She buys investment properties, rents them out. She just has a way of knowing, evaluating properties and figuring out the best, most productive, most profitable way to make a profit on it. And then so she's a classic example of an entrepreneurial person. Her skill set's different than mine. If I get somebody like I had one today that came in that's looking for he's a 1031 exchange, 1035 exchange, and he was looking to flip a property, and he has a certain time frame, and so I asked him what's his buy box, and in next thing, so that's something I would split with Melissa, because that's her world, and she knows that. My world is new construction. I know the new construction down here in South Florida better than anybody. And that's why I get a lot of calls from YouTube, is because I can tell these people the difference between the Avenires and the Lotus Edges and all the other new construction. But to answer your question, that entrepreneurial, and it doesn't matter in which way it is, whether it's investing or whether it's social or whether it's new construction, there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat. But they all have something in common, and it's that entrepreneurial spirit.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So like what considering the fact that you had this agent join you and grow her business substantially, like what is your approach to leadership, mentorship, and accountability? Like how do you keep them going, or how do you motivate them, or how do you give them goals? Like what is it that sets you apart?
The best people are self-motivated, and we talk,
There we
so
go.
we'll talk all the time. And I have about at any given time 12 to 15 mentees, and a lot of them come and go, and I don't chase them down, Jesse. I said, listen, I'm going to be, if you want to learn how to fill out a contract, go find somebody else. I mean, I'm going to teach you marketing that'll get you at the top of this industry. And then if they come back to me with questions, I have a guy up in Port St. Lucie, about an hour north of here, who's one of my mentees, and he comes to me all the time. So I'm going to work with him on stuff like that. So not they're not all like that, but a part of our program is, we have those Tuesday Zoom calls. If there's something that we want to know how to improve our YouTube channel, let's go. 1 o'clock Eastern Standard on Zoom. We could do that. And I'm always available for my people. And if they want to speak to me once a week about newsletters, another important thing. I mean, how do you stay in touch with people without bothering them? Our newsletters is a great way to do it.
Mhm.
And so there's lots of different things, but these are some of the things we teach people that we work with in our group.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I get your newsletter too, and I love it. I think it's fantastic. Do you make special
Hey,
videos for the newsletter, or are you just injecting the videos that you've already made into the newsletter?
two things. I do a preview of the upcoming video. So it's like, instead of like the hour long or 50-minute video, it's a 5-minute clip of what to expect coming up. And I recently started doing on one it's called In Palm Beach Today. I used to write it. Now what I'm doing is I'm making a short 3-minute video, and I'll go over the numbers in Palm Beach today. Like, we had an explosive a new pending sale number out last month, and there was I read between the numbers and read between the lines using the numbers to give my forecast of what I think is going to happen this winter. Remember, we have a different season down here in South Florida. We get busy in the winter time.
Yep.
And so I gave my 3 minute story, and I've been doing that in my newsletter now, every week, and sure enough, we're getting a lot of clicks on that.
Oh, that's fantastic. You mentioned before sports and entertainment division, luxury division,
Yeah.
YouTube. If someone joined your group today, like the great thing is Ray and I work together, so you get access to both of our trainings, tools, resources. But what are the tools and trainings that you offer that they would get access to?
Well, there are tutelage for YouTube for certain. I mean, one of the things we know, one of the things I see people that get a ton of views and no business on YouTube,
Hmm.
and there's a lot of them out there. And I see people that are really actually pretty good on YouTube, but they self-sabotage because they do some stupid things that just prevent people from calling them. We know what the key metrics are to get those phone calls. We call them reach outs, and that's really the goal. There's a guy in my market. I'm not going to mention his channel, but he gets a lot more views than me, and I get a lot more business than he does. And it's because he basically does some things on the channel that ruin it. So but what to people that join our group, Jesse, they get a way to a proven formula
Hmm.
that works across almost multiple cities around the country. Look at the channels you're navigating between Houston and Phoenix and Portland and you name it.
Yep.
And it's a formula that works. We have a formula. I mean, I have a formula with new construction that works. I'm shocked what I do down here in new construction that there are not other agents emulating what I do because it's something that it just I've done it now for last 5 years or so, and I network the new construction communities like nobody else. And that's why I get a lot of the new construction business relative to my competition. So those are just two of the items. Then there's eXp luxury that ties into the whole thing, and there's sports. Sports. Do you know that there are more professional golfers that live in Palm Beach than any place else in the world? So, why not? I have Joe Namath living right near us. I have Tiger Woods that lives near us. I mean, there are some prominent people that live in the town I'm in, John Travolta, Bill Gates. Look at that. That live that live in this area. Why not make them clients? I mean, is it unheard of to make them clients? Of course not. We have the platforms that give us the skills to provide value to people like that, and to agencies that look to join us.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's super unique because like especially what you do, like I really admire the business that you've built. And the thing is like agents ask us all the time, like how do I like focus on luxury with YouTube? Like and everybody wants to try all these flashy videos, $10 million house, $50 million house, and it's not generating the deals. So like you are doing it right. So I think the thing with like what you're doing is like I see like luxury new construction in a lot of markets that you could help a lot of people with because it's not anything over the top and outrageous, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, so the average price in Palm Beach is 615,000. So it's not low, it's not high. It's higher than probably most places, but it's not ridiculous. People think of Palm Beach, they think of Palm Beach Island, which is a sliver of Palm Beach, which is like, yeah, they're like $12 million houses there, or 13 million, I think it is now. But the average price in our county is roughly 600,000. Mine's almost double than that because I follow a strategy that gets the price point higher. Of course, it's nice to sell more homes, but if you double your price point, you don't, and you keep the same amount of homes, you double your production. And there are ways to do that. If there was going back to the ERA story, there was a girl there that used to call herself the queen of mobile homes. And she says, I don't know why I'm getting all these mobile homes. Well, the fact that you call yourself the queen of mobile homes is probably a start. You want to go after. When I do my videos, Jesse, I target like the Bridgewaters, which are $3 million homes. I target the higher price communities. I do not go after average price townhomes. I do not make videos on them. The great thing about YouTube is you call the shots as to the business that you want to get.
Yep, I agree with that 100%. So, where are you taking your organization over the next 12 to 24 months?
I love that question. My vision,
Yep.
right? I want to expand, for starters, I want to expand what we have here in Palm Beach.
Okay.
Melissa, who I mentioned before, she's moving to Fort Lauderdale, which is about 45 minutes south of me. So
Nice.
we're gonna be able to have more coverage here, which is going to be good. I'm doing a lot more business about an hour north of me, a place called Port St. Lucie, and
Yep.
I've been closing homes there all the time. And I want to I'm going to buy a house there myself personally, and I'll expand my reach up there. There's a boatload of new construction up there. It's a mecca. Believe it or not, it's the sixth largest city in Florida now that people don't even know if you don't live in Florida.
Oh, wow.
But it's one of the fastest growing cities in Florida. So I want to have a bigger presence there. And if I'm on the ground there, I could do a video all the time. And then last but not least, I one day, and it's going to take me a little bit of time, but we are really strong in the winter months here, right? And where everyone else is slowing down. In the summer months, the Hamptons in New York that's where why not living in the Hamptons,
Oh,
right?
I agree.
And that would be completely when they're busy, you're slower, and when you're busy, they're slower. They would complement each other so much. And the truth is, I used to live in the Hamptons. When I lived in Manhattan, and I'm originally from New York, as you know. When I lived in Manhattan, I had a house in East Hampton, and I know the Hamptons very well. So just like you've taken your business, Jesse, to other regions, I'm looking. Those are the regions that I'm targeting and thinking about to for my next putting on the map where we can put and expand our organization we have here now.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I could see like expansion in both of those places could be very successful, especially like with like your pedigree of, luxury, new construction. And I mean, let's just be real. We all know what's happening with New York right now. There's
Sure,
going to be a massive
exactly.
there's going to be a
There's, there's
massive influx.
there's gonna be two places that are gonna move: the Hamptons and South Florida. I mean, yeah, it's I don't know how quickly that transition it will happen, Jesse. I don't know how quickly it will happen. It's sort of the same transition that took place around COVID. A lot of people from New York City moved out of New York City, but they moved to like Long Island, the eastern end of Long Island, the Hamptons, and they moved to Florida. So they do have a choice. They even if they move out of New York City, assuming they do, it's not just Florida it benefits. It'll be other places it benefits. I think the Hamptons will be one of them.
I don't know if you saw, but they showed the weekend after the election, they had houses in Connecticut that hit the market that were getting over 90 offers. But I mean,
Yeah.
realistically, those were probably like a couple here and there. It's just like when they're like, oh, the new administration comes in and everyone's selling their house in DC. No, those are the people that
Yeah.
were in the office for that term. And I looked at the historical sales
Right.
in DC every 4 years, and guess what? When they have a rollover of administration, there's always a massive influx of
Yeah.
listings. So that's super
There's
cool.
definitely a cyclical element to that. I could see that. Yeah.
Exactly. So we're heading into 2026. Like, what is Ray doing to gear up for the upcoming year? And like, what do you think is going to happen with the market? I don't ever ask anyone this. I'm asking you because you said that you study the markets and you're a former financial
Yeah,
guy.
I do. Yeah. I mean, I like the fact that I think it's very area specific. I mean, so I'm gonna say some of this what I say for pertaining to South Florida and to into my area, but I also like to extrapolate a little bit to the country as a whole. I mean, the biggest detriment to the market has been interest rates. There's no doubt. We went from 2.5% to 7% in a very short period of time, and we've pulled back. And I sort of feel that there's enough pressure on the Fed to put to interest rates to slowly, not as quickly as people would like, but slowly continue to lower. And if interest rates were one big handle, like 1% lower, the amount of buyers that would come out of the woodwork, in my opinion, would be drastic. And I think that would put an underpin to the market. I am bullish on real estate prices in general. And people are saying, well, what about the affordability factor? Look at the asset classes. Real estate versus the stock market versus products and inflation. Real estate is lagging the stock market. Take a chart of the S&P, put it aside the prices of, let's say, a single family home in Palm Beach. Real estate is so lagged. So you might think it's more expensive than it was in 2020, but look at the S&P. They're different asset classes. Look at Bitcoin. I mean, I think real estate, I'm real bullish. The catalyst is going to be lower interest rates. And I think that we're right around the corner of this happening. President Trump is putting pressure on the Fed to lower interest rates. I don't think they have any choice but to go lower with it. And a lot of it, we speak to our database. We are a ton, like you do, Jesse. We have a ton of people that are waiting on the sidelines, that have the money, the cash, and are just waiting for an opportunity to jump in. And you know how it is. If interest rates go lower, and the demand goes higher, what happens? Prices go higher. So I don't think we'll see a repeat of what we saw in 20 to 2022, but I do see sustained growth of real estate prices and something healthy, like maybe 5, 6, 7, 8% price appreciation over the next few years.
Yep, makes total sense. Yeah. What when you I think if an agent's watching this right now and they like think this story sounds familiar because maybe that's them. Because like when you were working at ERA, you were probably hitting your head against the ceiling and redlining. And I feel like a lot of agents, you've only got like 10 years of like where you can like go full pedal to the metal before you're like, all right, my business is established. This is what I like doing. If somebody's like watching this right now and they want to reach out to you and learn more, how do they get a hold of you?
Sure. Listen, I would love the right person. I mean, I'm very selective on the people, like I know you are, very selective with the people we work with and want to help. But you know, if you go to living in Palm Beach, Florida, eXp Ray Fernandez, you'll find it. You will. It's on YouTube. If you just go to like Google my business profile, I'm there. The email address is ray at livinginpalmbeachfl.com. Reach out. I have, in addition to attraction, I have a virtual assistant program that
Hmm.
I can help people. If you're an agent that maybe is doing well, but you could do better, and I know you could too, and the missing element is leverage. I can help you with that.
Okay.
It's made a difference a big difference in my business. I know it's made a difference in yours, Jesse.
Oh yeah.
And the people who are doing well generally use it. So yeah, reach out to living in palmbeachfl.com. Anything. I'd love to have a conversation, see if you're a fit, and if you are, we'd love to see if how we can help your business.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll put your link and everything down below. And yeah, if you're looking for a VA, whether it's editing, content, social media, transaction coordination, administrative assistant, you name it, that's what I found is very helpful with having VAs. And obviously, even if you need like someone to do your AI, copy, whatever, I mean, you have multiple VAs, I have multiple VAs, sky's the limit. The only way you can find out how it can help you is reach out to Ray and he could probably even like look at your business and see where you could best inject one. And in case people don't know, like what's the typical range of the cost of a VA?
They have programs where you can get VAs depending on your skill set, but you can get some VAs as low as $4 an hour
Mm,
working overseas. The ones that are a little bit more skilled might be seven or so or higher, but
yep.
it depends on what you want them to do. But let's put it this way, Jesse, and you know this, but I'm going to say it anyway. If your dollar per hour, your rate is, I don't know what it is, but it's certainly a lot higher than that. And you're performing, you're doing a spreadsheet. Like I'm looking at my spreadsheet there. And if you're, putting numbers into an Excel spreadsheet, which is I don't know, a $10 an hour function. I don't know if you're doing that, you're not making good use of your time. And you should really rethink how you're doing
If
what you're.
because I just did the math. It's like less than 15 grand a year at $7 an hour. I think what happens with a lot of agents is they're like, oh, I don't have enough for them to do.
Oh yeah.
What would your advice be for that?
I think everybody thinks that. I really think everybody thinks that. You hire them and you'd be shocked how
Yeah.
much you have to do. Just do yourself a favor to that person who's saying that to themselves. Do yourself a favor. Take the next week and look at what you're doing. Write down the tasks or do it mentally, but better yet, write down the tasks. And I'm doing the spreadsheet. That's something I can outsource. I'm answering these emails on this one. That's something I can outsource. My social media, people will say to me, "Oh, I see this thing that you put on." I don't do any of that stuff. I don't, I mean, I got your email the other day. I didn't send that email.
Hmm.
I mean, I have people that know me and they do it for me. So look at what you're doing, whether it's social media, just make a list of things you could do. Before you know it, that first VA, you'll be hiring number two. There are plenty of things out there that you can give these people to do to keep them busy on let's say a 40-hour work week.
Yep. I completely agree with that. And I think, yeah, just doing it because like that's what a lot of people are like, I don't know what to do. And actually, I have a referral for you. I have someone looking for a VA right now, so I'm going to send them over your way, and you probably know who they are. So,
Terrific.
um,
Terrific.
Ray, thanks so much for jumping on this today, co-sponsor podcast. If you're someone out in the audience watching this and you'd love to learn more about partnering with Ray and myself, we work together. We'd love to have a conversation with you. And if you're looking for a VA, hit up Ray as well. Until next time, we will catch you guys later.
Thank you, Jesse.